have always used multiple spreadsheets, logs, documents, charts, and we've been using those for a long time. I've been here 10 years, and we've been developing them and modifying them and making changes to them and figuring out, what is the best thing and what tracks what and what KPIs do we have. But as we are expanding, it's becoming more and more of a challenge to guide all the individuals that need access to that information to the right place, knowing where they're saved, how they access them, where the information comes from, who's updating them. So we tried to make it so that things were all stored in the server. But back in 2020, when we had to do a little bit more virtually, some things went to SharePoint. And so then it got even more confusing about where people find files. So we decided it was a good idea when Microsoft started advertising for Power BI that this would be a great platform for us to use to bring all that information together. So we thought it would help us track that information better, have one place to store it in. I started experimenting. I started taking classes with Microsoft and trying to figure out how to use Power BI and try to do it all independently. But I was never going to be super successful at it because that's not my primary role, right? So we were really excited when we learned that Ray had dedicated team members that specialized in Power BI to enhance their business operations. And so that's when we raised our hand and asked if we could be part of that. Because as being the director of finance and administration for the company, there was a lot of other things that I needed to be spending my time doing, but this was an important thing as well. So I had, as I said, probably more than 40 hours in taking classes and trying to learn how to do it, practicing, connecting things just for them to break. So I can't say that I have like a number that I can say of how much it saved us, but it saved me a drastic amount of time that I could redirect into the things that I needed to be working on and let the experts do what they do best. So with Ray, we had a predetermined time frame when I was doing it. I didn't know how long it was going to take me. It just depended on when I had gaps in my schedule that would allow me to focus on it, and then had my fingers crossed that when I did figure it out, it would work. So when Ray came on board, we had that predetermined time frame. We knew when things were going to happen. We had scheduled times that we met and discussed things. I showed them where files lived. We came up with a game plan of how the information was going to get loaded and updated. And within 60 days, we had already had our initial dashboard created, and we were already messing with it and playing with it and tweaking it and modifying it and trying to make it everything that we wanted. So being a design build company, we are big on visual elements. And I have found through the years that depending upon what management you're talking to, some people are fine with numbers and fine with spreadsheets, where other people really need something more visual, something in a chart form, something with pretty pictures or pretty colors. And Power BI just lets you do all of that. I mean, it's kind of, there's kind of no limits to what you can do, right? So there were some things that we asked the Ray team to create or to develop that was different than what we even had, because we felt like we were still being held down by what I was capable of coming up with, where for them, this being their expertise, they had in mind other graphs and things that they had used for other projects that worked out really well for us. And then we did have one thing that we brought to the table that was, I think, a little new for them. So maybe they'll be able to use that in the future for other teams for ways to measure things as well. Biggest advice that I can give you is to make sure that you have a plan. Know what your KPIs are, know what you're trying to figure out, know what you're trying to track. Surely for your company, you know what the biggest obstacles would be if something's not coming in the way you need it to or not performing the way that you need it to. So those are the things that you need to figure out first. The Ray team definitely can help you figure out maybe how to track those things or what information would be needed in order to track those things. But you need to understand for your business what you need to track and bring those to the table. Also, just making sure you communicate with all the departments within your company to make sure that there, at least for us, there was a lot of overlap with the information. So there are several things that we have. We have 4 dashboards built right now for different departments, but some of those elements cross over and are shared in multiple dashboards. So that way you're not having to duplicate work and duplicate requests because the information is already being shared with another department. So just make sure you kind of have a plan and you know what it is you're going to ask them to show you. So one of the dashboards that we built is for our marketing department, and marketing is getting a revamp within our company right now. And so the marketing manager, I think, has been excited to see what all this can bring to the table, so that they're not having to look at so many trackings and dashboards, that they'll be able to bring all those to one location for the same reasons that the other departments were doing. So I think marketing is definitely going to be the next to get a revamp on their dashboard. So I spent probably 5 or 10 hours with the RAID team, showing them where documents lived, explaining to them what they meant and what our purpose for them was, and how we wanted to see them, or maybe how we wanted to view them. And then our first drafts were ready, I think it was within 30 days. And then I reviewed them again. I played with them in a couple of the meetings that we had. I brought them up to show the management and leadership what they look like, just so they could ask immediate questions and things right away. But I would say by far, this was so much more efficient than me trying to learn how to create those things on my own. I definitely have a lot less time explaining to them what I wanted. We've had several back and forths, hey, we thought we wanted this. We don't really like how it looks. Can you make it do this instead? And they're very eager and very excited to make those changes for us, because they understand that it's helping us build our business to be more efficient and grow and see the things that we need to see. So yes, there was some dedicated resources, but it's not like I needed to spend an entire day doing things, or dedicate a week to doing things. It's been a learning process as we go through it, and Ray has been walking alongside us through the whole process. So I wouldn't change anything about that part.